crash. Actually, a crash is what they might also call a correction. A market correction is not the end of the world. It simply means that you're just having a bad week, a bad day, a bad month, or a bad year. Think about it like bad weather. Think about it like bad weather. You know, when it rains, you don't hear anybody say, "Oh my God, it's raining today." That means it's going to be raining next year. No, what's happening today has nothing to do with what's going to happen next year, right? So basically, when you hear people talk about crashes, what you want to really kind of understand is that it tends to make news when the stock market goes, to garbage, but it doesn't always make news when the stock market is doing okay. It's not. There's nothing to see here when everything's business as usual. What tends to get attention is when things go bad. It almost makes me think about when I was talking to a cop one time who was talking about, just how some of the cops end up seeing the black community, and it didn't justify his behavior or his thinking at all. But he said one of my problems I had when it came to racism was that the only time I got to go to the black community is when something bad happened. Every time something bad happened, they called me, but they never called me when good things happen. They don't call you, the cops, when somebody's graduating from school or somebody did something good. They call you when somebody's getting beat up, somebody got shot. And he said, I started initially associating black neighborhoods with bad things until I started learning more about my own racism. And I actually respected the guy for what he said. So anyway, the same thing is true when you talk about investing. A lot of people are afraid of the stock market because they don't know anything about it. People have a natural fear of the unknown, first and foremost. And then second of all, we tend to accentuate the negative. We tend to accentuate the things that go wrong, but we don't talk so much about the things that go right. So anyway, let me mention something to you that's really important. I was kind of thinking about the importance of teaching kids about money. And as you know, in a second, for those of you who are in the stock market program or in the Black Wealth Boot Camp, in a minute we're about to start a lecture on how to turn your child into a millionaire. It's a very straightforward model that I put together for Black people to give you something that you can easily memorize that will allow you to position your child such that they have a very high probability of being a millionaire. It's not magic. It's not rocket science. It's very, very simple. But a lot of times it's the very basic stuff. It's the accumulation of doing the basic things that ultimately lead to the long-term productive outcomes. So